Today, we are pleased to have with us Dr.Jehan Perera, the Executive Director of the National Peace Council Sri Lanka, a respected voice in peace building, reconciliation, and democratic governance. We warmly welcome you to the Midpoint YouTube forum, Dr. Jehan.
Thank you.
To begin the discussion, I would like to ask Doctor, as someone deeply involved in peace building and national dialogue, how do you assess the current situation, like the social, economic situation in Sri Lanka?
Well, at the moment, Sri Lanka is addressing the cyclone and the aftermath of the cyclone. And being a democracy, government and the people will always give priority to immediate issues. And the cyclone is indeed a very major disaster to have struck the country. So, in this context, uh, the focus is on on relief, immediate relief, and resettlement of people, reconstruction of the infrastructure. And the government's entire efforts are being devoted to that because also a lot of people are suffering at this time. Tens of thousands of people are in very difficult situation. Thousands of acres of land have to be replanted. Roads, bridges, the railway system has to be repaired. So this is the priority at this time, and in this context, issues such as what happened many years ago in the war, or the fact that there is ethnic conflict in the country, that does not take priority at this time, because the priority is dealing with the immediate issues. Whereas where the ethnic conflict is concerned, and reconciliation is concerned, the sense among most people would be that the problem is over. The war is over now, over 16 years. And therefore, and the country is at peace. There is no violence in the country. So then this seems to be a faraway problem for most people. Of course, in the north and east, and also among those both in the north and east and outside the north and east who suffered during the war and its aftermath, for them it will remain a priority because they want to uh, be compensated. They need to find out what happened to their loved ones. They need their land back where it has been taken. So for them, it is a priority. But for most of the country, it is no longer an urgent priority. In the back of our minds, we know that this problem exists and has to be dealt with. But there are more urgent problems such as cyclone Ditwa and its aftermath. So this is the challenge for governance, good governance in the country, because it this problem, the ethnic conflict, can't be neglected. It cannot just be left unresolved. It is like a part having a wound in a part of the body. Even if we have an injury, a serious injury in a part of our body, sometimes we can function. But unless we address that wound, heal that wound will continue to trouble the body. Our body will continue to trouble us. It might even become a major problem again. It might fester. It might turn gangrenous. So we have to heal the wound. And we can't say that because it is far away, it is not a, it is, we can still function quite well, that we don't have to deal with that problem. So the ethnic conflict, issues of peace and reconciliation have to be addressed.
As you mentioned in the healing process, what do you think about that? What is the role of the civil society to rebuild the public trust in institution and encouraging the citizens regarding the democratic process?
Civil societies, the important role that civil society plays is to keep alive issues. We fill the gaps. We fill the gaps which government is not addressing. That is I think the important issue, and we try to include everyone. So the role of civil society at this time is to keep reminding the government and the people, the general population, that there is an unhealed wound in our society that we have to attend to. That even though it may not affect the majority of people directly at this time, it is affecting some people, some of our citizens, even at this time, and they feel very strongly about it. And therefore, we also have to deal with the roots of the problem. Why there was a war in our country? We can't, because there is no war today, we can't say that the roots of the problem have been dealt with. The war ended because of a military solution. It didn't end because there was a negotiated settlement where all sides were happy about the solution. One side lost, and lost on the battlefield. So the role of civil society is to keep alive these issues, take it to the people, even though people are now more concerned about other issues. Civil society also has the duty of pointing out what the possible solutions are, how other countries in similar situations have dealt with this type of problem. We also have a role in building engagement across the communities, because there's, in a sense, we tend to live in silos. Each community lives to itself and does not so much share the problems they have with the other. Sometimes we don't want to share it because we think it will become controversial. The civil society has to take up sometimes unpopular issues at a time when the country is trying to deal with the effects of the cyclone and recover. It might not be a very popular thing to start to talk and say that, there is also an unresolved ethnic problem. There is still issues coming from the war that need to be dealt with. But that is the task of civil society. Civil society fills in the gaps that other agencies in the society are not filling.
When we're moving to the younger generation, what do you think about their roles to uh, shape the inclusive and social inclusive Ayana? When we moving to the yeah, when we moving to the younger generation, what role should young people in Sri Lanka shaping inclusive social and political conversation, and how can they contribute constructively?
We are fortunate in our country to have a very active youth population. We saw it in the Aragalaya. In the time of the Aragalaya, our youth are the ones who came to the front. They are the ones who sustained the struggle for months and peacefully. By and large, it was very peaceful. And it was also the concern of the young people was not just one sector of society or their own community, but it was the well being of all. We saw it again after the cyclone, the way the young people mobilized immediately to provide relief, to go to locations where the destruction had been great, to offer their services voluntarily. They used the modern technologies, the smartphones, the Instagram, the modern methods of communication on social media to address the problems. So the younger generation is necessary to get involved in peace building in our country. And it is necessary also because they are now the younger generation, perhaps not in positions of power and authority at this time, but in the future they will be. And resolving a national problem like the ethnic conflict, like the causes that led to war, is a long term process. So the youth are needed for the long term because what we want is a sustainable solution, not a solution just for today, but a solution that lasts the test of time. And for that, the involvement of young persons is absolutely essential. So we need to mobilize the energies, the idealism of youth in the pursuit of a political settlement, of reconciliation, of dealing with the past.
to make a sustainable solution for especially for peace, justice, and also economic stability. Doctor, what do you think? What key actions should policymakers, civil society, and the citizens can be taken to move Sri Lanka forward?
What we need in the end is a good system of government, a good system that treats all people fairly and justly. Because what creates conflict is when people feel they are being discriminated against, they are being unfairly treated. And the present government is very good on this because they have said that they will treat all people equally without discrimination. But we also need a system that ensures that in the future, when the leaders who are in this government may not be in the government, because politics always changes, we need a permanent system. So, this government, which is committed to equality of all people, to non discrimination, needs to put into place a system that guarantees that there will be non discrimination and equality even in the future. And that means we have to have certain independent institutions, institutions that can check and balance uh, majorities. For instance, a majority government, for instance, may want to do things which are not correct, at which point the other institutions of society, such as the judiciary, even the public service, must be able to act according to the law, the rule of law that has been set and that is just to everyone. So we need to have, I think the most important thing for the future is to have a system of government that is fair by everyone and that people from all communities accept is fair. So for this, we need to have discussions. We need to have negotiations.
Dr. Jehan Perera, thank you very much for sharing your valuable insights with us today. We think and we believe the conversation like this are very essential to understanding and strengthening the uh, constructive engagement across society. So again, thank you very much for sharing your valuable insights with us
And I
today.
also like to thank you, Gayatri, and also the national movement for this opportunity to speak to you and to share my thoughts on a very important national issue, which, unless we resolve, it will hinder our development in the future.
To our viewers, thank you for watching Midpoint. If you found this discussion meaningful, please do share your thoughts in comments. Until next time, thank you.